Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to round 7 of the Hungry Jacks National Basketball League, and a thrilling game we've got up for you today as well, I can tell you that. The Sydney Kings and the Newcastle Falcons met just a fortnight ago in Newcastle, and the Kings won that game by just 9 points. Since then, they've both played Melbourne. The Kings lost here at the Kingdome, but Newcastle beat the Tigers up there in Newcastle, so very closely matched teams. They both have a 4-3 record, and Bill Palmer, I reckon a very important game for both teams because they'll be looking for a place in that top 6.
Yeah, that's right. The place in the top 6. At this time of the season, it's very important you keep those wins a little bit more than the losses, and certainly for both teams, I think it's a very dramatic time for them, and they wouldn't want to get back to that 50-50 stance. So it's important from that point of view, and I think it's also very important because I think that they see this as the battle to who's the best team in New South Wales. So there's a lot going on in this game.
Let's have a look at who the Kings are going to start with. In the backcourt, we've got Steve Carfino and Damien Keogh. The forwards, Mark Dalton and Ian Davies. The centre, number 20, Mark Ridlin. A pretty strong bench too. Spaldenis and Morrissey will get lots of court time. Dunsmore, Zunic and Davis. The coach, Claude Williams.
So I think we should probably look at the two players in this game, Steve Carfino and Ian Davies. Carfino, I think by any estimation, was down last week, and he really faces a challenge in this game. One, to establish his playmaking role very early on in the game. And the second thing that he has to do, he probably will be called on at some stage in the game to try and restrain Jerry Carfino for Newcastle, who's probably one of the best offensive players in the league. Also, Ian Davies, at the start of the year, we were saying he was fitter, keener. He's missed out on the Australian team. You'd have to say in the last few weeks, he really has been down on form. He's going to have to hit a few of his long bombs and get right into the game early on.
Well, in a big upset on Friday night, the Newcastle Falcons beat the Perth Wildcats, so they're going to be in a high.
Newcastle will be on a very big high. I don't think they'll feel the effects of that game at all because they will be running emotionally.
Sports Centre, alias the Kingdome, just about a capacity crowd, certainly an NBL record crowd, around about 4,000 people, and a fabulous sight here in Sydney. Basketball is taking off in a big way, there's no doubt about that, and so will Derek Polk and Mark Ridlin as they go for the tip-off. There it is, and it's Ridlin to Damien Keogh, and there it is. Damien Keogh brings the ball up for the first attempt at a basket. Davies to Ridlin. Oh, that was unlucky. It just looped out, and so it's the Falcons now with the first chance to score. Mike Johnson in close, and that was a nice shot from Johnson. Johnson averaging around about 35 points a game at the moment, and you just saw the reason why. He's not only good at shooting from outside, he can get in close too. Davies, gee, that was a terrible shot from Ian Davies to get him underway. It hit nothing but air. Everett off glass, unsuccessful, and we've got Steve Carfino coming down the court now. Carfino driving, nice shot from him, so it's 2 points each. The Kings and the Falcons all tied up.
It certainly looks like we're going to see a racecourse game, that's for sure, because both teams have opened. They like to run up and down the floor as quickly as they can. Johnson with a one from the bleachers, that's 3 points, and that Michael Johnson, he can shoot. You'll have to get right up on him, get a hand in his face all the time. He can shoot as soon as he comes over half court.
That's Ridlin now on the turn for Polk. That's a lovely shot from Mark Ridlin. Gee, he worked over Derek Polk in Newcastle a fortnight ago that way, and I'm sure Ken Cole had a word to Big the Dot about that exactly, but Ridlin got that one okay. Ian Davies cut that one out. Well done. Good defense from Davies, and Damien Keogh drives to the basket. 2 points for him. He hit 25 points last week against Melbourne, and that one was a good one. A good start for Damien Keogh, and the Kings leading by 1, 6 points to 5. Jerry Everett.
Interesting to see the Damien Keogh's matching up on Everett. Everett gets through that time, scoops it in. That looked like basket interference. The ball was on the ring, and the net was pulled. Nothing's called, so the Kings are away.
Now Carfino trying to get around Wayne McDaniels. And McDaniels defended well. He didn't let Carfino get near the basket. That comes off McDaniels, but Carfino picked up the scraps, and Damien Keogh, with lots of room to move, drops the easy layup, and the Kings lead by 3, 8 points to 5. Jerry Everett driving down the court quickly. Everett loves that position. He gets the shot out to McDaniels, and beautiful block shot from Mark Ridlin. So the Kings are showing much better defense at this early stage of the game. And Mark Dalton showing a hell of a lot of commitment. He got in there, foul on the way, and referee Bill Mildenhall has ruled that the foul was before he actually got the shot away. So really very unlucky there for Mark Dalton, because instead the Kings will take the ball from the side. Carfino again will look for the shot. It's unsuccessful, Dalton, but it's too late. The referee has seen an infringement, and the Falcons will take the ball from the side.
These teams are going to be tired after this game, I think, Mark, aren't they? Because they really are running up down the floor. We've seen a lot of layups, so the defense really needs to consolidate. The offense is very much in the floor at the moment. Johnson with another three-pointer, his second for the game.
Yes, that was a great shot from Michael Johnson, and that's tied up the scores here at the Kingdome. And it's still 8-all, in fact, after that missed shot by Davies. So, as we predicted at the beginning of the game, this one going basket for basket so far at least. Michael Johnson from way outside hits the three-pointer. It's called only 2 by referee Roger Shield, so he must have had a foot on the line way out there in the corner. A great shot nevertheless. And 3.5 minutes into this game, it's looking great stuff so far. Damian Keogh from outside. The shot's a little short. Beautiful stuff from Ian Davies. Got it back to Keogh. Bounce pass to Mark Ridlin. And a foul has been found. I think it's going to be called against Derek Polk.
Yes, it is. And they're certainly getting inside the Kings, putting a lot of pressure on the forward line from Newcastle. And I'd be very concerned if I was both coaches about the standard of their defenses. If, gee, we look at Michael Johnson's got 10 points in 3 minutes. He's going to have 3,000 before the game's over.
I tell you what, it's hard to stop a guy when he's shooting from way outside like that. But I guess the key is you've just got to have a guy on him all the time, hustling him, not giving him an inch, because if you give a guy like Michael Johnson an inch, he'll take a mile.
It's interesting to see they've lined up Carfino on Everett rather than, Keogh on Everett rather than Carfino. Carfino picking up Dennis. Can't buy that one. That's Sean Dennis, number 4 with the ball.
Dennis playing the point at the moment. Michael Johnson with Ian Davies on him. Davies puts up the hand, and that was good enough to prevent the shot from Johnson. It was from way outside, though.
Most people can't throw the ball that far. In fact, it looked like a bit of a throw. I think that was even beyond his range.
Ridlin now on Polk again. He'll turn and shoot. He does it a lot that way, and he's drawn the foul from Polk again. So Derek Polk falling into the same trap, and already he's got 3 fouls. Wow, what a key call that was. And Bill, the Falcons in all sorts of trouble when you look at it like that.
That's right. Well, they can ill afford to lose Polk at this stage. He's going to clog up the middle for him, and he's got in foul trouble after only 4 minutes.
And no wonder Ken Cole has called a timeout with the score at 10-all here at the Kingdome. Well, Ken Cole and Claude Williams, the coaches of the Falcons and the Kings respectively. And for them, this is going to be a pretty difficult situation, because they can see the way the game is progressing now, Bill, and very evenly matched. But as you say, I think they've both got to be concerned about the defense.
Yes, I think that's true. And I think that the rate the game's being played at, it's going to be extremely difficult for the teams to, if they want to play a zone defense, to play it. Because the offense is into attack so quick that they would have a hard time getting the defense back into retreat and setting up into a pattern. So really, I think that we'll have to see the defense perhaps extend further up the court and put more pressure on them. Mark Ridlin now with 2 shots. First one nearly breaks the back of the ring.
Ridlin missing the first one. Let's have a look at how he goes with the second one. That's a good shot. That's much better from Ridlin. So the Kings take a 1-point lead.
Interesting, nobody scored for the Falcons yet except for Michael Johnson. He's got 10 for 10.
And doing a great job at the moment, Michael Johnson. In fact, he's put up more shots than that. He just loves to put the ball up at the hoop, give it every chance. Jerry Everett from around about the free throw line, unsuccessful. And the referee has found a foul against Ian Davies. No, he hasn't. It was just ruled that Ian Davies was the guy that pushed the ball over the line. So no foul on Davies. And the Falcons will take the ball from the side and run a set move. It's straight out to Wayne McDaniels, and he's using Polk as a screen, gets the shot away. Absolutely beautifully executed by the Newcastle Falcons. They lead by 1 now, 12-11.
You wouldn't say that anybody's very shy out there at the moment, Mark.
No, they're not going to die wondering if the ball is going to go on the hoop or not. They're giving it every opportunity, and that was good stuff from Mark Dalton. Dalton, a very strong player inside, really plays above his height and weight. He loves to get in there and mix it with the big guys, and that's exactly what he did that time, and he gives the Kings a 1-point lead. From the free throw line, it's a little short from Mark. He'll be disappointed with that. Ridlin looked like he'd stolen the ball off McDaniels, but referee Mildenhall has found the foul, and it will go against Ridlin. And Davies comes out of the game and Tim Morrissey comes in. Morrissey started the game last week against Melbourne. It was a move that didn't work, and Davies started today, but he started a little slowly again. His shots have been ineffective, and now Tim Morrissey out there will be doing a big defensive job on Michael Johnson. Jerry Everett from outside, it was short, and a great rebound from Morrissey. Good start to the game for him. Damian Keogh driving down the court, gets around Johnson, puts the shot up off the glass, doesn't drop, and Jerry Everett, the 6'4" guard, gets hold of that one okay and drives straight to the basket. He's got plenty of speed as well. The points will count, but a charge has been called against Jerry Everett, so that one sort of evened itself out.
Yes, the determination there is, of course, that the ball was out of Everett's hand, therefore it's no longer a player control foul. As the ball was going into the basket, he ran over a defensive player, so the foul and counts, and so does the 2 points.
It's back outside to Damian Keogh for a three-point attempt, and it drops. Lovely shot from Damian Keogh. The Kings trailing by just 1. In fact, that's put them in front. 15 points, 16 points to 14 with that three-pointer. That shot unsuccessful. Carfino desperately trying to get the ball back into court, only successful in getting it to Everett, and Everett drops the 2 points.
I tell you what, Mark, they aren't going to worry those Konica decals in the middle of the key the way they're going. We're seeing everything coming from the moon.
Yes, I think the Konica will stay a nice bright blue the way it's going at the moment. The Kings drop another one, and it's 19 points to 16. It's a great game at the moment. It's real run-and-gun stuff.
Oh, I don't believe this.
McDaniels from outside. That one drops as well. Whoa, fantastic stuff.
They got that little radar beacon, I think, on the rings. That ball's homing in. It's amazing. I don't think we've seen an inside shot except for a lay-in. And there's another one.
Carfino goes from outside. That one didn't drop, but Ridlin gets the offensive rebound and drops it for 2. So 21 points to 18. The Sydney Kings leading the Newcastle Falcons. We've got 5 minutes 30 remaining in the first period. Everett. Oh, it was a good pass from Sean Dennis, but Dennis wasn't looking. So all Dennis was able to do was knock it over the sideline. A wasted trip down the court for the Falcons. Carfino. Keogh looking for Morrissey across the key, decides not to go for him, uses Dalton as a screen to drive. Gee, it looked good until the shot missed. Johnson gets away to Everett. Everett trying to get past Carfino, decides to go over the top. Jack McDaniels dropped it for 2 points. Fine offensive rebounding and then shooting from close range. The Kings 21, the Newcastle Falcons 20.
McDaniels was fouled that time by Mark Dalton, who, in attempting to stop the shot, collected McDaniels on the elbow. So the 2 points count, and he gets the bonus foul shot that counts 1 point, and he made it. And McDaniels now has 7 points in the game, and Johnson has 10 for the Falcons. They're the leading scorers.
Carfino to Ridlin. Ridlin back outside to Carfino, to Dalton, who got the bounce pass to Ridlin. Ridlin did well to hang on to that one.
Here the referee, Billy Mildenhall, saying too long, 3 seconds in the key. Obviously, when your team is in possession of the ball, you can't stand in that keyhole area for more than 3 seconds at a time.
Everett now driving inside and gets the shot away beautifully. So the Newcastle Falcons hit the front, 23 to 21, 4 minutes 30 remaining in the first quarter. And this game running at 1,000,000 miles an hour at the moment. Morrissey, lost the ball, but it went straight to Mark Dalton. It was in and out, didn't drop. Nice pass from Ridland to Tim Morrissey to clean it up. So the Kings not wasting that trip, certainly. 23 all now at the Kingdome. One gets the feeling that that's going to be the status quo for a long time in this match. Great reject from Ridland. Carfino gets a long pass to Keogh. Keogh under attention from Dennis misses, but Morrissey did well to follow up and drop it. Good play from Morrissey because it looked like an easy layup for Keogh. But Morrissey stuck with it just in case he missed, and that's what happened. He dropped the 2 points instead. The Kings leading by 2. Everett using Polk as the screen. The shot unsuccessful off Dennis's feet, but back to Keogh. Carfino to Morrissey. Oh, I think that might be called goaltending. Yes, it has been called. The situation there is that Everett, in fact, got hold of the ball when the referee ruled that the ball was on the way down.
A very close call there on replay. It was just marginally at the top. Maybe on replay, it might not even have come over the top on the way down. Pretty tough call for the referee. Great athletic play by Everett. He's going to make up for, try to, at the other end. There he is again. He already has more shots than either teams have points.
But his percentage isn't good at the moment. It would only be around about 30, and that's why the Falcons are trailing 27 to 23. Ridland gets the shot up, collects his own rebound, but loses the ball. Ridland calling for a foul, but it's all happening so quickly out there. Carfino to Keogh. Keogh drops it. Great shot. Just the 2 points, 29 to 23.
This is what I call fighting fire with fire. Newcastle came out blazing, and I think the calibers of the Kings guns are a little bit bigger at the moment.
They're certainly doing a fine job out there shooting. Guys like Keogh and Carfino, who haven't been in great shooting form, although I'll qualify that by saying that Keogh did some great stuff last week of firing them from outside at the moment.
We've seen
the bombs are dropping.
We've seen a technical foul called on Mark Dalton, number 12, for kicking the ball away after the score was made. And a technical foul is the same effect as a shooting foul on a player on the floor. That is that the team gets 2 foul shots, each one counting 1 point.
Got 2 shots, shooting 2.
So that's really a wasted foul. That's Mark Dalton's second foul.
And as you heard from referee Bill Mildenhall, it's 2 free shots for Michael Johnson. He gets the first one okay.
With a technical foul, too. Of course, the team that's going to shoot the foul shots gets the option of selecting their best foul shooter to shoot them for them.
And Michael Johnson doesn't make mistakes from the free throw line very often. Zoran Zunic on the court for the Sydney Kings, trying to get around Hill. That's Hill out there, who played a great game against Melbourne last week and is really coming of age under the guidance of Ken Cole.
Side 6. You can't keep moving on him. Foul is 6 wide.
That's Andrews Valdenis, another guy out on the court for the Kings. As you heard, he's been called for a foul off the ball. Valdenis is first. Valdenis and trying to the defense on Wayne McDaniels, but not good enough. McDaniels drops the 2 points, 29 to 27. The Kings in front by 2. 2 minutes 30 remaining in the first period. Zoran Zunic trying to get the ball inside. Valdenis has got a little bit of space there. Maybe he should shoot or drive or something there, Andrew. Oh, eventually dropped the 2 points.
He did both. He shot and drove.
He took about three seconds to think about it. It was kind of like slow motion, but the end result was the right one for the Kings.
Oh, gee whiz. That was a forced shot by Johnson. And Morrissey was just waiting for him. He tried to spin, turn, shoot in the same motion, and Morrissey was right there with his left hand on the ball.
Well, Tim Morrissey is one of the best defenders in the league, and he's really hustling Johnson out there. You'd note that since Morrissey's been on the court, Johnson hasn't been quite so effective. Good release from Ridland. Morrissey driving, gets the pass to Zunic. He pumped, got rid of the defense, and then dropped it on the second time. So the Kings leading by 6, 33 to 27. 1 minute 42 remaining in the first quarter. Hill to Johnson. Johnson gets the shot away. The 2 points count. And the foul has been called against Tim Morrissey.
That was a great basket by Michael Johnson. I was about to comment that he forced it, but he was able to turn and spin. Watch him. He uses that spin dribble off, gets head and shoulders by Morrissey. You can see Morrissey bumping him from the side. You can see Johnson losing balance in the air, correcting, still putting down the basket, and then collecting now his foul shot.
So a 3-point play to Michael Johnson. Newcastle Falcons 30, the Kings 33.
That's good body.
Johnson already with 15 points for the game.
I'm tired, Mark. These guys are really going at it.
Yes, so I tell you what, I'm sweating up here just watching them. Svaldenis on the turn.
Oh,
boy,
in
between two defenders, tried to get the shot away from an almost impossible position.
That was the land of the Giants that time, too. He must have thought he was in a big old tunnel when he went up for that shot.
Johnson trying to get around Morrissey. Morrissey still under... giving Johnson heaps of pressure there, but Johnson dropped the shot nevertheless.
Johnson's unconscious. He's got 17 points, and there's still a minute to go in the first quarter.
That was accidental. He didn't mean to hit it. No way. Easy. Settle down, Mike. Right. That was accidental. Let's just play.
Well, Phil Mildenhall telling Michael Johnson just to settle down and let him call the plays. One of the best referees in the league from Melbourne. And I must say, Bill, it's good to see a Melbourne referee up here in Sydney, something like a neutral referee. And I can tell you what, after last week's Melbourne game, I'm glad to see him here. Carfino now trying to get around Dennis, gets the pass out to Zunic, and Zunic drops it. Lovely shot from him, a three-pointer to Zoran Zunic. I reckon that might be his first for the NBL season in 1988. The Kings leading 36-32, and there's just 29 seconds remaining in the first period. The Polk on the turnaround drops it okay. So it's just 2 points in it, and there's 20 seconds remaining. The Kings will settle it down now and just look for the one shot before the quarter-time break. 14 seconds remaining. Carfino standing in the middle circle. He'll get rid of Dennis very shortly, I'd imagine, and shoots it. Does it all. Three-pointer. What a great finish to the quarter for the Kings. Steve Carfino, the man responsible. And that's the way it stands here at quarter time, a game that's running at 1,000 miles an hour, and we're going to see heaps of points before the end of this game. The score here at the State Sports Centre, the Sydney Kings 39, Newcastle Falcons 34. Smile on the face of the Kings manager Mike Wroblewski. A full house for the first time in Sydney's history in the National Basketball League, and boy are they seeing a great game. 39-34, the Kings lead by 5, and it's Wayne McDaniels and Mark Ridlin to get us underway for the second quarter. And Ridlin gets the ball away, but eventually it falls for the Falcons, and Jerry Everett, who spent the last part of the first quarter on the bench, back out there now. McDaniels trying to get the ball inside, goes for Johnson outside, and there's a foul called on Ian Davies. So I reckon Ian Davies would have been told by Claude Williams to get on right on Johnson. I'm
surprised he's made that change, really, because I thought Tim Morrissey, Johnson put in some miraculous shots, but Morrissey has that little bit better speed to stay with Johnson that Davies no longer seems to have.
Ridlin gets a quick release to Mark Dalton. He's one-on-one with Johnson, goes around Johnson and misses the basket. So good defense. Johnson not only doing the job at the offensive end of the court, he's doing it pretty well down the other end as well. Keogh, the guy running the point, with Steve Carfino sitting on the bench as we're into the second quarter.
Foul called there on Peter Hill. That's his first personal foul. Just gave Ian Davies a little shove around the belly area as he caught the ball that time. Pretty apparent for the referees. Not a difficult call to make.
Keogh, Dalton. Room to shoot. He does that and hits 2 points. Nice shot.
I really can't remember a time I've seen two teams so willing to blaze away from incredible distances.
Well, I guess the theory is, as far as the Kings concerned, anything you can do, I can do better, and so far it's working pretty well. Zunic drove for the basket and got hit on the way, but it didn't count. Oh, Davies, all he could do was give it to Hill and then grabbed his arm. The referee's deciding to let it go. Can't believe that, the bounce pass inside the Hill to Dempster. McDaniels from outside, unsuccessful, and Keogh is the guy driving the ball back up the court. Keogh got Johnson in front of him, and Johnson once again doing well in defense, but And then the tall timber got in Keogh's way, so he couldn't drop it the second time either. Everett driving. Oh, an easy basket for him. He got in between Dalton and Ridlin very easily. It's 41-36. The Kings are still leading by 5.
That was a sort of a hope pass that one. Actually, Mark Ridlin was open for that pass. It was just a poor pass. Ridlin would have had a lay-in. Everett inside again gets it slapped away by Dempster. And I think I like Newcastle a little bit better when at least they create some inside offense. They're blazing away from the outside, but McDaniels or Dempster, somebody's got to stay inside occasionally.
It makes it very hard to keep up, I can tell you that. But the Kings leading by 5 as Claude Williams takes a timeout, 41-36. Ken Cole is a great motivator, but tactically, what would he be saying to the players at the moment, Bill?
I think he really would have to be concerned about two things. I mean, there are two things in the game. There's the offense and defense. Well, the defense has suffered by both teams in this game. There hasn't been much of it. So that's one concern. But I think that probably a better concern at the moment was you can't rely on winning a game just with an outside attack only. You've got to have the option of going inside. And, of course, the closer you get to the basket, the higher your accuracy is. And I would bet that he's talking about working the ball around and trying to set up somebody inside rather than just coming down and immediately blazing it away from the 30-foot range.
I think we saw some hint of that just before that timeout. The Falcons seem to be keener to get the ball away and inside to some of the big guys there. Johnson inbounds to Everett. Everett trying to get around Keogh. He does that and gets the pass inside to McDaniels, but that was a very poor shot or pass or whatever it was.
Maybe they better stay outside.
Yeah, maybe so. But Davies now looking for some space to shoot, but there's none for him there. Peter Hill doing a very good job on him. Zunic inside to Ridlin. Ridlin tried a pass that was never really on there. McDaniels got in the way of it. Ridlin calling for fouls again, but the referees will have no part of that. Everett bouncing across the top of the key to Hill, to McDaniels looking inside, but Ridlin gets in the way. Eventually Everett gets a hold of it. Just 14 seconds on the shot clock, but I don't think there's any worry about the Falcons not getting a shot away within the 30 seconds.
Jerry Everett, very keen to shoot. I think Jerry Everett's a little bit hungry at the moment. He's been shooting poorly from the outside. He really should work on getting his stuff inside for a while, passing the ball around, letting the game come back to him rather than trying to take the game by the scruff of the neck when he's out of touch.
I don't know that Jerry Everett knows any other way.
I don't know if he knows about that. Well, he is an offensive player supreme, and of course, when he is in trouble, nobody can stop him.
Wow, Dempster was all on his own there, but Dalton did well to get there and stop the shot. Give him his credit for that, and that ball just went out. So it'll be Michael Johnson to take the ball right on the halfway line, and Damien Keogh marking Jerry Everett, and doing a pretty fair job of it at the moment too. Hill over the top of Zunic. Shot unsuccessful, and an easy rebound for Ridlin. Sometimes with the Falcons, when they're shooting from outside, they've just got no players in there to collect the rebounds. And if they don't go down, it's just coughing the ball up. Keogh, Ridlin, he had room to shoot, and he dropped it okay that time. 8 minutes 25 remaining in the second period. The Kings leading by 7. That's the biggest lead of the game so far, 43-36.
Well, they're called on Damien Keogh, reaching in behind as Everett went to the basket. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. It's always a gamble. It's a sign when a player probably has been beaten by his man to try and flick that ball away behind. I think it's interesting, Mark, that we see the Kings have 7 players in the scoring column, whereas Newcastle only has 3 players in the scoring column. Well, 4 if you count Derek Hoke's 2 points. Here we see Everett. Now watch him make a move to the inside now. Through the legs, good move. He went by Keogh. Keogh was out of position, tried to flip it away from behind.
That's Dennis trying to get around, and McDaniel was there to drop the offensive rebound. 43-38. The Kings have made some mass substitutions out there. We've got Svaldenis and Carfino and Morrissey all back on the court. Davies, Zunic and Ridlin, the guys who have left. Carfino gets it out to Dalton. Dalton drops that shot, a three-pointer from Mark Dalton. So it's 46-38.
Another interesting point I think we should make is while Everett's been taking all these shots, Michael Johnson hasn't gotten a shot, and he's gone cold now. He hasn't touched the ball for a while. He was killing him. He got 17 points in the first quarter.
Well, Mark Dalton in some distress there. He got an accidental poke in the eye from Wayne McDaniels. Or was it in the nose? I think Mark may have broken his nose. Let's have a look at it.
We see McDaniels working on. He got Mark up in the air. Clearly, McDaniels is entitled to go up. Mark reached in with his nose, and that's painful. But there's no doubt that the foul was on Mark because he was coming over the top, and Wayne McDaniels was just going straight up.
Makes you wince just looking at it. The most physical contact in a basketball game is from elbows. Most of them are accidental, and I wouldn't be surprised if Dalton has broken his nose. Carfino now. Keogh looking inside. Goes for Morrissey, then Carfino. He's looking for runners inside the key. Drives himself a little bit uncertain there, Steve Carfino, but I guess the right option was to shoot it.
When in doubt, fire.
48-39. The Kings leading by 9.
That's good, buddy. Keep your arms out, buddy.
That's better. I think that's a better offensive choice for Newcastle. It didn't come off that time, and they got the ball into Polk. Polk got it back out. They could have got a very good shot out of that. A little bit more patience on the Falcons' part, I think, is needed at this stage, because this sort of tempo is seeing the game slip away from them, so they've got to try something different.
Mark Dalton comes out of the game, and he looks very distressed at the moment. Mark Ridlin back in. Carfino. Sean Dennis on him. Dennis has improved in leaps and bounds in 88 under Ken Cole.
Just went for a little right on the hip. Billy Mildenhall, an excellent communicating official. He leaves no doubt to what he saw and the reason he called the foul. And I can't tell you how important that is from a player's point of view. Even if you disagree with the referee, if he's positive and can describe what he saw, you start thinking, well, you know, maybe I did do that. And you'll see the referees that talk to players like that, you don't see games get out of control.
It's a pleasure to see him in action, Bill. Steve Carfino drops the first one from the free throw line. A 10-point break for the Kings now. The second one drops too. The Kings already reached the half-century mark, and we've got 6 minutes 50 remaining in the second period. I thought it would be a high-scoring game, but this one's going to be up around the 130 mark. Michael Johnson from outside with a three-point shot.
I thought he might have got cold. That was his first shot for the quarter, but he buried it.
Carfino, the bounce pass to Ridlin. Ridlin turns, misses the shot, and Wayne McDaniels gets the rebound. Sean Dennis. And the Falcons doing a little better now with Jerry Everett sitting on the bench. They're willing to work their offense, and it's working for them. Johnson couldn't drop that, and Morrissey did well to get it away to Carfino. Carfino tried to get rid of Dennis, but Dennis hanging on there at the moment like a shearer's dog. That's quite a battle out there, and Sean Dennis doing the defensive job that Jerry Everett's been unable to do. Tim Morrissey tries to get around on the low post.
Foul's called there on Chris Steele. That's his first personal foul. And it wasn't a shooting foul, and neither team's in the foul bonus situation, so the ball's taken from the side.
Carfino fouled Dennis at the top of the key. Ridlin went out to meet that one. A little handoff to Keogh. He'll shoot with space to shoot. Oh, it was in and out. Bad luck. It was off Steele's feet. And a good call by Roger Shield. He saw it that way. And Tim Morrissey will take the ball from the side. Keogh goes out to meet the ball. Morrissey running across the key. Ridlin and Polk fighting with each other under the key there at the moment. And Ridlin eventually gets the ball. He'll try the turnaround on Polk. But Polk putting a little more pressure on Ridlin today, and it's working for the Falcons. Derek Polk doing a fair job.
Well, being teammates last year, they know each other's moves pretty well. Michael Johnson with another one from the bleacher. It doesn't go.
Johnson just seems to toss them from out there, but he's so accurate, there's no way you could question his technique. Keogh pumps, gets the pass into Morrissey, and a travel has been called. So the crowd, the capacity crowd here of nearly 5,000 people at the State Sports Centre disappointed as that one disallowed. The Kings 50, Newcastle Falcons 42. Chris Steele gets the shot away, and Carfino with the rebound. Gets a quick release to Damien Keogh, and the tap-ins from Sval Dennis. Will it count? No basket.
That was a great play, actually, by Damien Keogh. He had a slight edge in the race to the basket as he was going in there. Chris Steele was chasing him. But you watch, see how that last step, he purposely takes that step in towards Steele, thereby creating the contact, but he knew he had the better position, so he was able to draw that foul and have the chance of making the basket as well. Smart play.
A timeout called by Ken Cole. The Falcons trailing by 8, 50 points to 42. That's to leave Everett on the bench. Keogh drops the first one. It took the long way down. The points count. The point, at least, it's 51 to 42. The Kings out by 9. The second one drops too, so good play from the free throw line from Damien Keogh. It's not as easy as it looks.
The real difference here, Mark, is that Sydney is getting contributions from 5 or 6 players at the offensive end. We still see basically only 3 players producing points for Newcastle.
Yes, in Newcastle, interesting that the Kings had 7 guys in double points up there. The Falcons had only 2. And that was the difference in the end. Carfino, oh, he fell. It looked like it may have been a trip, but probably an accidental one. Carfino, the bounce pass inside to Sval Dennis. Sval Dennis can't get the 2 points, though. And McDaniels gets the rebound. Sean Dennis. Dennis waiting for his teammates to come up with him. It's Steele to McDaniels to Johnson. Johnson tries to get around Morrissey and pops the shot off. Oh, gee, he's a good player, Michael Johnson. That was a great shot. It looked like he was off balance, but it never looked like this. He hit nothing but net. The Kings 52, the Newcastle Falcons 44. Carfino trying to get around Dennis. Dennis doing a pretty fair job on him. Ridlin tries to get over the top of Polk. He doesn't drop again. And Dennis is the guy who scavenges the ball. Waits for his teammates. Dennis resisting the temptation to put away a quick shot.
Clear change of tempo, isn't it, Mark? They've obviously said, well, let's work the ball, pass it around a few times, make sure everybody's playing the game, and then let's let Johnson shoot. That seems to work pretty well.
It sure does. They seem to be working a bit of a one-man band at the moment as far as the shooting is concerned, but the rest of the Falcons team doing a good job of giving Michael Johnson service, and why not? Because he's a great shooter of the ball. Keogh comes out of the game. Ian Davies comes back on. Claude Williams quite liberally using his bench at the moment, and to some effect.
Tim Morrissey picking up his second foul on Johnson, and really Johnson has been uncontainable so far. He's got 23 points in the game.
Ridlin to Davies. Davies looked at it, but not from the Hungry Jack's side.
He's hit one from there. I've seen him hit one there. I think that's the furthest shot I've seen, a purpose three-pointer.
I think his confidence is
the big whopper
up to that one.
The big whopper.
Well, Ridlin looking for handoffs, but nobody's coming anywhere near him, so Ridlin shoots from the free throw line and he missed it. The Kings looked a little disjointed that time. Johnson pumps, then gets the shot away, through a foul from Ian Davies. So once again, good play from Michael Johnson. He was fouled in the process of shooting, so Johnson will go to the line.
Here we'll see it on replay. Johnson driving in, seeing a bit of a gap, pump up in the air, gets Davies losing his balance, coming forward. Davies then couldn't raise his hands straight up, tried to reach for the ball. He realized he was out of defensive position. Johnson missed the shot, but he gets 2 foul shots, each one counting 1 point.
Mark Ridlin sits down, and Glenn Dunsmore is on the court for the first time in this match for the Sydney Kings. Michael Johnson, it's bread and butter for him at the free throw line. Drops another one. The Kings leading by just 4 now. The Falcons getting back into the game. It's 52 to 48. 2 minutes 50 remaining in the first half. Carfino, good shot from Steve Carfino. Maybe he should be doing a little bit more of that. McDaniels trying to get around Dunsmore. Carfino attempted the steal, couldn't quite get hold of it. Dennis, good defense at the moment. The Falcons unable to get in there, but so Johnson will shoot from outside. It doesn't go down. And we've got a
foul called. Glenn Dunsmore that time, a rebounding foul. Used his hands to push off before he went to the ball. And now we see for the first time in the game, the one-on-one situation. Now with Sydney, with 6 team fouls that they've gotten in this quarter, anything over 4, the other team goes into a bonus foul situation. In that case, it wasn't a shooting foul, but any foul now gets this one-on-one.
Daniels has to get the first to make the second. I preempted you there, Bill.
That's all right. We both know the rules. That's why we're commentators.
54 to 49. The Kings leading by 5. But McDaniels does a good job of reducing that to 4. 2 minutes 27 remaining in the period. And the Falcons just slowly but surely clawing their way back into this game. Dunsmore from outside. The shot is unsuccessful, and Roger Shields calls it a Falcons ball, and they quickly inbound it. It's Dennis bringing it up. Dennis is looking for runners across the key. Hands off to Johnson. Johnson tries to get around Morrissey, and off glass that time. The guy can do it all for 2. And the Falcons trailing by just 2 now, with 2 minutes remaining in the first half. They're on a bit of a roll. The Kings won't want to go into the break with a deficit. Morrissey off glass. He can't drop it. Neither can Davies. There's a lid on the basket at the moment for the Kings.
The Kings have gone into a sort of a one-pass offense at the moment. They aren't working their offense very well. In fact, now we see Newcastle perhaps working their offense a lot better. The key to Michael Johnson, Tim Morrissey's job, he's got to stop him getting the ball, because he just hasn't been able to contain him once he's got the ball. He can shoot from a standstill. He can shoot off the dribble.
So Morrissey trying to stay between Johnson and the ball. Meanwhile, Derek Polk drops it from inside, and it's all tied up here at the State Sports Centre. 54 points apiece, 1 minute 20 remaining in the half. Davies trying to get around Johnson, draws the foul from Johnson, so better play from Davies that time.
Michael Johnson just wasn't on balance defensively. He had his nose in front of his toes, as we say. He had no ability to move. And really, Davies, all he had to do is make one simple step. He was round head and shoulders, contact occurred. And again, we see the foul situation, as that's the 15th foul on the Newcastle Falcons.
At 32, Ian Davies losing a little bit of his speed, but he's still got the moves. His brain knows what to do. It's just a matter of getting the body to cooperate. It did that time, but unfortunately, Davies unsuccessful. So a wasted chance for him, really. Spaldenis trying real hard to get a piece of that ball, but Derek Polk dropped the 2 points.
Yeah, but I think Spaldenis, instead of getting the ball, got a piece of Polk.
Yes,
here we'll see it. Dennis going in, working in very well, getting open. That's Chris Steele, I'm sorry. Derek Polk with the...
tie it up. Morrissey misses.
Like that, Mark Dalton. And it seems like they've lost their offensive fluidity.
That was a good shot from Glenn Dunsmore. It does. It's short. Steele got a hold of it, and Sean Dennis slowing things down a little bit now. They've got plenty of time on the shot clock. They can afford to do it, and I think they'll be trying to milk it down as far as they can and get that shot away just with seconds remaining. McDaniels?
Yes, good call. Good call. You can see Wayne McDaniels, he tried each quarter to get him to the lead.
Very clearly indicated by Bill Mildenhall. 11 seconds remaining in the first half. The Falcons leading by 1, 57 to 50. Ken Cole obviously doesn't want to know about the selfishness of Everett. And he's giving Sean Dennis the chance at the point, and he did a fine job for the Falcons in the second quarter. Dennis to McDaniels, looking for Polk inside, goes for Johnson outside on the turn over Keogh. And Johnson, after sitting in a dressing room for 20 minutes, was able to come out and immediately hit a fantastic 2-pointer. So that's 59 to 56. The Falcons out by 3. Keogh to Dalton. Dalton on the hook.
A scooper.
Whoa.
A little scooper. He couldn't shoot over, so he shot around. 9 points now to Mark Dalton.
And Dalton, who got a very nasty knock on the nose very early in the second quarter, is out there doing the right thing for the Kings now. And Derek Polk has got another foul. That's his 3rd foul. So Polk in some kind of foul trouble now, and that must be a worry for Ken Cole, because of course he's a key player. He's the big man. He's the target under the boards for the Newcastle Falcons. Ridlin, a handoff to Keogh. Keogh to Dalton. Dalton to Ridlin, goes one way, shoots off the other, and doesn't drop it off the glass. Dennis. Dennis once again settling things down, not doing things too quickly, although McDaniels had a wide open shot, so he took it, and another 2 points to the Falcons. 61 to 58. The Falcons still lead by 3. Carfino, White. That was a beautiful block shot from Derek Polk. He's a big man. He's the best at that in the league. He's averaging around about 3 a game, which doesn't sound a lot, but as you can see, it's a difficult thing to do. You've got to time it well, and of course it doesn't help if you're it doesn't hurt if you're 7 foot tall. Keogh got rid of Johnson and then got the shot away. That was great stuff from the Australian representative guard.
And he's matching up. We were saying at halftime when we were talking during the break, Mark, that it's interesting that Carfino or Keogh hasn't been tried on Johnson. Well, Keogh's matching up on Johnson now, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens there.
Well, that shot didn't drop from Sean Dennis. So the Kings now with a chance again. Keogh did all the hard work, but the pass went to McDaniels, and Johnson on the fast break made a meal of it, but got the second chance. Carfino, a great steal from the little man. Well, littler than a lot of the others anyway. Keogh gets the pass out to Dalton. Dalton is short with the shot, and Polk gets the rebound. Now Johnson brings it up. Will he shoot? No, he passes it to Steele instead, and Steele drops it for 2. Good play from Michael Johnson. He looked at the basket, realised Steele was in a better position, and Steele got the easier 2 points. The Falcons 63, the Kings 60. A handoff from Dalton to Davies. That shot was too shallow. It was never going to drop, and Polk got the rebound.
Davies hasn't scored yet, Mark. Wayne McDaniels has.
He certainly has.
18
points for the match for Wayne McDaniels.
And a quick timeout to the Sydney Kings, and I don't blame him.
The halftime break seems to have made no difference.
They've come out hot and they've come out organized, and really the Kings, as long as they had established enough.
Minutes 41 remaining in the second quarter. Steele at the point to McDaniel. He's trying to get around Dalton. Gets the shot away, but it was wide. Polk, those long arms, getting hold of the ball, but then losing it to Ridlin. To Carfino. Carfino was forced away from the basket by Steele. Dalton settling things a little now, calling for players down on the low post. That's where Ridlin goes for him. And Ridlin on the turn, an impossible shot drops. Great stuff. The Kings 64, the Newcastle Falcons 65. They trail by just 1. Well, Mark Dalton telegraphed that pass, but it worked, and Ridlin finished it off. Johnson now, a jumper. That was a great shot.
31 points to Johnson, and he really is able to change his shot in the air, and that's a great ability. Steve Carfino's pretty good at it, too.
Carfino, he has to be on the target if the Kings are going to win this match, and he appears to be finding it now. They trail by 1 again. The Kings leading. Dennis using Polk as a screen beautifully and hits for 2 points.
That was a 3-pointer, and I'm impressed how Dennis and Steele and these guys that haven't had much NBL time come out now, and under the confidence given them by Coach Ken Cole, they're playing like veterans. Oh, Ian Davies cannot buy a thing.
I feel sorry for Ian Davies at the moment. He hasn't scored, and he doesn't look like scoring. I just hope that he can drop 1 or 2 just to get the confidence going, because he's the kind of guy that can hit a purple patch.
Well, they'll have to bring back Morrissey, I would think, at this stage, because if Davies isn't going to produce offensively, they need at least the defensive player. Mark Dalton has found the range.
The Falcons 70, the Kings 68. The Sydney team trailing by 2 in front of this capacity crowd at the King Dome. Johnson looking inside to Polk, decides to go for McDaniels. McDaniels under a lot of pressure under there. He was fouled and hit the shot anyway. The foul wasn't seen by the referee, so just 2 points, 72 to 68, the Falcons leading. Dalton with some room to shoot. It was a poor one. Ridlin followed it up, pumped, and then put it down. Mark Ridlin didn't rush that one. He's a smart basketballer. And the Kings trailing by just 2 again. They're not letting the Falcons get away, and that's most important, because I think if it's close at the end, with this big crowd behind them, it could be the inspiration the Kings need. There's a long way to go before we get down to the wire, and a lot of basketball. Davies. Oh, good play from Ian Davies, and that'll be called goaltending. No, it's a foul. It's a foul on Chris Steele, and Mark Dalton, who was in the process of shooting, he was in the middle of the layup action.
It was a good pass off. Dalton kept his eyes on the best. There you can see Chris Steele collecting Dalton on the arm. The ball didn't go in, so it'll be a shooting foul. Excellent replay. You can see it clear as a bell.
So Dalton from the free throw line. It was an easy layup that Steele decided to buy by fouling him. So Dalton has to get them both to make the play pay. He got the first one all right and gets the second one.
Sydney now marked with 4 players in double figures, whereas Newcastle has Johnson with 31 and McDaniel with 20 and nobody else in double figures. So a good team effort, but they've got to shut down Johnson and McDaniel, or one of them anyway.
And the other Falcons doing a good job of servicing their shooters with the ball.
Wayne McDaniel's made some room for himself that time.
He got rid of Mark Dalton, and as a result, the foul will go against Wayne McDaniels, and the Kings will take the ball from the side. Jerry Everett.
Billy Mildenhall said he pushed offensively. I think you could take that both literally and figuratively.
He certainly did that. Jerry Everett back on the court, so Kent Cole giving Everett a chance. It's Steele who's sitting down, and it'll be interesting to see how Jerry Everett approaches the game now. Ridlin, he's got 2 players on him there. Bounce pass is out to Carfino, and Carfino dropped it.
A three-pointer.
3 points. Great shot from Steve Carfino, and good play from Ridlin. He drew 2 defenders and gave Carfino the room to shoot. A handoff from Dennis to Johnson. Johnson shoots from outside. That time it was short, but he was fouled.
Yes, that was right.
Tim Morrissey came across from the side and fouled him.
And shooting cup.
You can hear Billy Mildenhall again, as I said earlier, a great instructor out there.
It was a foul.
He did pull it, but he's also correct.
A great communicator, Billy Mildenhall. He talks to the players. He doesn't do it in a smart kind of way. He just tells them what he thinks, and it looks to me that most of the time he's right. Good referee.
I think the thing with Billy Mildenhall, he has the advantage. He's played VFL football for St. Kilda. He knows what it's like to be out there himself, and he's appreciative of the emotions. He has a deaf ear when it's necessary, lets the players let off steam, and tells them what he thinks. And he'll also admit if he thinks he made a mistake, and often you see him will recall his call. Not in the shooting foul, though.
So Johnson gets both of them from the line, and it's 75-73. The Kings leading by 2. 5 minutes 12 remaining in the third quarter. Ridlin calling for Carfino to come across, and then goes himself and drops the hook.
Ridlin's looking a lot more dangerous in this half than he did in the first half, and the Kings are consciously going to him.
77-73 as Johnson shoots from way outside. It doesn't drop, and it's Dalton with the rebound to Carfino now. Carfino trying to get around Dennis one way, then the other, then the other. Keogh looks at the three-point shot, takes it. Doesn't go, though.
Looked at it too long. He started to think about it. A double dribble is called by Roger Shields, the referee. Wayne McDaniels took a dribble, stopped, and then tried to dribble again. Of course, you can't do that.
So a lapse in concentration from Wayne McDaniels gives the Kings a chance to take some kind of break here. They lead by 4 at the moment. Ridlin short with that one, and Everett comes up with the rebound. Driving quickly, but he slips and then gets the pass away. So well done by Everett, really. He must have felt like a bit of a fool. He'd be cold. He spent a lot of the time on the bench. Turn from Polk. It doesn't go. McDaniels under heaps of pressure there from 3 Kings players. It dribbled away to Everett, though. Morrissey attempted the steal, and Everett's just got to settle down a little bit now. Johnson into McDaniels, off glass, 2 points. The Falcons reduce it just to 2 now. The Kings 77, the Falcons 75. Bill Mildenhall is calling for the towel because there's some slippery spots out there. So the Kings now, they lead by 2. We've got 3 minutes 48 remaining in the third quarter, and Keogh is running the point. Dalton, he's got some room to shoot. Maybe he should. He goes inside to Ridlin instead. Ridlin took the hard way, but he managed to get a foul out of Derek Polk. And that's Polk's 4th.
That's obviously been the purpose there.
Position first.
Defense has to have position first before you can get in their path. Polk push from the side. That's his form. We'll see it here. Dalton with the ball. Looking inside, you can see Ridlin there on the right-hand side of the screen. Will stay with it. Working around, you can see Polk head and shoulders by for Ridlin. Polk push. In the meantime, we saw Damien Keogh hit 2 points.
Well, Ridlin had buckles of dropping that layup. He was there to draw the foul from Polk, and it worked. And then Keogh really made them pay. Another 2 points to the Kings, 79-75. McDaniels gets over the top of Dalton. And Carfino with the rebound. A beautiful jump from the guard to Keogh, to Dalton. Driving. That went off glass and almost put a hole in the window. 81-75. And Ken Cole keen to make some substitutes now. He's got to get Polk off the court. That's what's happened. Derek Polk comes out. Robbie Dempster comes on. And that really does decrease the Falcons' firepower. Dempster only around about 6'6", and of course Polk 7 foot. So that makes Mark Ridlin's job a little bit easier on a smaller guy. And the Kings now with an excellent chance to make a break. Dennis went one way, then the other on Carfino, and drove to the basket for 2 points. Good play from the Newcastle guard. 81-77. The Kings still leading by 4, though. Carfino decides to drive and then whips it out to Keogh. Keogh's shot was a little hard, and Johnson got the rebound. Dennis to Johnson. They're keeping Johnson a long way away from the basket. Dennis with a little bit of room to shoot. Well, in and out. Bad luck for him. Morrissey to Keogh. Keogh calling for some support up where he is. So Ridlin goes to meet him over there. Keogh undecided, decides to go for Dalton eventually. Dalton bouncing across the top of the key to Carfino. Carfino on the turn. Drops it for 2.
Carfino now with 21 points. And this game changed from the first quarter. Both teams coming in, settling into their offense. Wayne McDaniels, I think, has been a culprit here. He's come down and he's gone blazing away. Much we were critical a little bit of Jerry Everett in the first half. I think Wayne McDaniels has been shooting that ball up a little bit quickly. It's not going around, and certainly it's not getting to Johnson.
The Falcons have racked up team fouls. That's the last one that we've got. Look at this.
As you can see, the foul there, rebounding from behind, and that was the foul was called on Michael Johnson. In penalty situation, though, for the Newcastle team, they've got 5 team fouls. This is a one-on-one situation. 16 points now to Keogh.
Make that 17. Damien Keogh gets them both from the line. The Kings 85, the Falcons 77. They're out by 8. So Tim Morrissey, who has done a great job out there in defense, unfortunately is racking up a few fouls as well. I guess that comes with the territory. But Claude Williams won't keep him on the court. He's got Andrew Dennis taking the T-shirt off as Everett makes it a 3-point play. And the Falcons are back within 5. Carfino with a lasso around the head. That means he wants runners across the key. He's getting plenty of that.
They should be going to Ridlin all the time now. There's a real height disadvantage. Ridlin being guarded by Robbie Dempster.
And Ridlin pleading for the ball. Not going to him so far. Carfino from outside. Unsuccessful. Newcastle now with a chance to get back in touch. Dempster, he missed it. That was a chance for the Falcons to get back within 3, but Dempster missed the hook shot. And the Kings with another chance to make Newcastle pay.
They must go inside. That's how they got this lead. There it is there. Tipped away from behind by Dempster. Foul called on number 4, Sean Dennis.
Those points won't count, of course. It was long after the whistle. But because the Falcons are in team foul trouble at the moment, that's their 6th, Tim Morrissey will go to the line.
You can see the loose ball there. That's Morrissey with the ball, and you can see Sean Dennis took a swipe at the ball but collected Morrissey from the elbow up. Again, a one-on-one situation. And the Sydney Kings can't make the Falcons pay. It would have been nice to have a little 7-point leeway at this stage of the game.
It's an important situation there. You've got to be able to drop that first one to get the second one.
Well, I reiterate again, I think Wayne McDaniels has gone a little bit native. You were critical of Jerry Everett. McDaniels now blazing away. The Falcons looked best when they were setting down a little bit, getting the ball inside and working some plays.
Well, I guess in McDaniels' defence, Derek Polk isn't there. The target isn't there inside. Maybe that's what he's thinking. Carfino off glass, drops 2 points. Another great shot from him. 23 points for the game for Carfino. And the Kings are out by 7 right on half-time. A great third period from them. They were down by 1 at half-time. They're now leading by 7. 87-80. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment with what promises to rebound for the Falcons. That's Hill to Dempster. His shot is unsuccessful. Ken Cole using Dempster and Hill both out there at the moment. Well, that was a little bit of cautious play, I guess we could call from the Kings. Now they're getting it under control to Keogh. Keogh shoots over the top of Johnson, and no offensive rebound is there. And Dempster and Everett getting in each other's way. Everett not looking on the pace at all. I think he might be sulking after Ken Cole sat him on the bench for so long in this game, and he just handed the ball over to the Kings. Davies, King, Keogh, Dalton.
It must go inside. Oops.
Ridland didn't get the handle on the ball that time, and it went right through his legs. Everett driving straight to the basket. That's what he likes to do. Oh, it didn't drop.
I think Robbie Dempster, that might have been going in, and I think Robbie Dempster tipped it out.
So a tip out as opposed to a tip in.
How do you score that one? A -2. We'll see it there on replay. Now, that looked to me like that was going to fall in, and Robbie Dempster tipped it out. Yeah, he's ended up getting fouled, though. So he really must make amends here. He's got 2 shots to do it.
The first one went down okay, Jerry Everett won't be so down on Dempster. Misses the second one, though. And it's off Dempster's legs over the line. No, it's not. Bill Mildenhall rules that it was off a King, so the Falcons will get the ball from the side. It's out to McDaniels. McDaniels to the left-hand side of the key. And that was some suicidal screening from Dempster, but Dalton, whoa, big slam dunk from Mark Dalton, lots of room to do it, and he almost pulled the hoop off the window. Let's check it out.
Well, not much doubt about that.
At the other end, the Falcons desperately trying to get in there and score, but Bill Mildenhall has found a foul.
That was 12 white, the holding foul down low, sidewalk.
Mark Dalton was a bit pumped up about that slam at one end. Maybe he was thinking about his RX-7, somebody winning an RX-7 on it, but he fouled at the other end. Wayne McDaniels has really gone cold.
And he just coughed the ball up to Damian Keogh there. Keogh on the drive to Carfino. But the Falcons had the defense there in the end. Davies! Oh, misses again. Ian Davies just can't find the target. Hill loses it, though. He took a look at Davies and lost the ball. So bad play from him, and the Falcons that time not making the Kings pay. They've got to do that because they trail by 8, 89-81. Dalton over the top of McDaniels.
Top to it. No.
It didn't go down, and no offensive rebounders again. So easy stuff. Everett to Dempster, and then a very easy layup for him.
That was a real bad defensive breakdown. Again, we've seen the Kings' tendency sometimes when they get a lead in the last quarter, they sometimes go a bit negative. It'll be very important they run a high percentage play here. Get the ball inside to Ridland.
Well, at the moment, it's the Falcons section of the crowd doing it, but Ian Davies drops his first 3 points of the game. Well, good on you, Ian, and had to go eventually. The Kings leading 89-83. There's 9 minutes 18 remaining in the third quarter. Johnson, he does that so well. He looks like he's off balance, but he's able to change the shot and drop it. He did it then again, 92-85. Ridland a charging foul on Robbie Dempster, and a good call from Bill Mildenhall.
I think he tried to do a little bit too much, Mark Ridland. He He caught the ball on the move. You see Ridlin at the bottom of your screen. He kept going. Dempster was at that spot first with both feet planted on the floor. Got hit right in the middle of his chest, so that's an offensive foul.
Everett, a confidence player whose confidence is right down at the moment.
He's a bit higher now.
Yes, that was a much better play from him. He went one way, then the other, and rolled the shot off the fingertips.
That's the danger of a player like Everett in the game. He's been cold, has been shooting bricks most of the night, but he can explode all of a sudden, just go crazy. So the Kings got to keep up the offensive pressure. They got to keep scoring. They can't go negative.
They sure do. The Falcons have got lots of firepower out there. Carfino, lovely handoff to Ridlin, but Everett did a good job of getting a piece of the ball. It rolled off Everett's feet over the sideline. So the Kings will take the ball from the side. It's Keogh who's got it to Carfino, driving around Everett. Good reject from McDaniels, but it only goes as far as Mark Dalton. He picks up the scraps. Dalton handing off to Keogh. Carfino's got lots of room to move out there. And on the low post, drops it for two. 94 to 87. Better stuff from the Kings, and they're keeping a 7-point buffer. Not quite comfortable, but a lot better than having the Falcons in touch. Everett trying to get inside, and off hands he gets it back. And, there's some pretty heavy stuff going in there under the boards. Players very keen to get a piece of the ball, but getting a piece of players as well. And that's
on Ian Davies. We see him using his hands. You can see the bump on Everett. No question about that. Ian Davies, of course, starts with a disadvantage, a speed disadvantage, and you really have to overplay the player one way if you've got a speed disadvantage and hope somebody helps you out if he goes the other.
Claude Williams has taken Mark Dalton out of the game. Andrews Faldenis is in there now for the Kings. Polk, Dennis. Polk out there, of course, for the Falcons now too. McDaniels gets around on the low post and played his last card. He's got Derek Polk out there now. He's on 4 fouls.
Goaltending.
And that will be called goaltending. Definitely. It probably wouldn't have dropped, but that's not the point. The ball was in the downward motion.
27 points now to Steve Carfino. We said at the top of the program he needed to play a big game. He's done his part in this game.
Yes, Carfino back to his very best.
And he's guarding Everett, too. So we said that might happen as well.
McDaniel showing the ball to no one, turning and shooting. It doesn't drop. And Keogh gets the rebound. Keogh moving the ball very quickly up the court. Now settling things a little bit. He'll be looking for runners across the key. The big men, Davies, then Carfino. They're loading one side of the court. And Keogh goes the shot, misses it, but Ridlin follows up for the rebound and gets the 2 points.
Ridlin having a big advantage inside with Polk on 4 fouls. Of course, Polk has gone a bit cautious. You really have to keep him off the rebounding board, though.
There's no point in Polk playing it soft now. He's got to get in there and do the defense. Easy prey for Keogh, and he drops it. 102 to 89. A 13-point break for the Kings. That's the biggest of the match, and it's a good time to have it with 5.5 minutes remaining. Polk. It didn't go down. It did a bit of a trip around the ring, but wouldn't drop. And things just not going the Falcons' way at the moment. The Kings will take the ball from the side.
Mark Ridlin really has come into his own at the latter part of the third quarter and into this fourth quarter. He's starting to play a real strong role around the basket at both ends. I think now we were criticizing perhaps Jerry Everett from cutting loose early in the game. I think their only choice is now they've got to say, Everett, go for it. Go for those 3-pointers. Do what you like now.
Davies, well, that shot never looked like dropping either. As you saw there, Ken Cole was preparing Chris Steele to come into the game. It'll be interesting to see who he takes out. Davies got inside to Ridlin. Ridlin will turn and shoot. Breitenbach, 2 points. Easy stuff. 104 to 89, a 15-point break. And the Kings doing it with some kind of panache.
Isn't that a nut?
I think you're thinking about what, a macadamia?
A pistachio nut?
Pistachio? No. And no good either for Johnson, and McDaniels drops the 2 points. And Damien Keogh, the guy to bring the ball up the court. He's in no hurry. The Kings are doing it pretty well at the moment. Faldenis inside. Dennis just dropped the ball over the sideline there. So
actually, I think he was probably standing on the line when he touched the ball, and that means that the ball is out.
Ridland on the turn again on glass, 2 points, and he's doing it easy against Polk at the moment.
I think Ken Cole will have to send in his kamikaze squad, put a few little mosquitoes on and try and press him up, force those errors. Gee, Johnson has shot just outstandingly in this game. He never seems on balance. He's bringing up his 37th point.
Damien Keogh with Johnson on him. Johnson's got a very tough defensive job there.
Newcastle's going to have to put more defensive pressure on it than that.
Well, that was a very good example of how it's not working at the moment. Carfino moving back out again.
Oh, lovely athletic shot by Steve Carfino.
And Carfino playing a great game. He's back to his very best. 108-93. The Kings leading by 15. And a timeout has been called by Claude Williams. The Kings in control. Well, Claude Williams would be feeling pretty pleased with himself at the moment. The team has done very well. And point guard Steve Carfino is back to his very best.
Look at this, is a wonderfully athletic shot. Watch how he comes to a two-footed stop, long way from the basket, just arcs the ball up, gave neither Pope or McDaniels a chance to get to it. Good timing, great athleticism. And he's had a whale of a game, 31 points, and actually he's been shifted on to, when he's shifted on to Jerry Everett, he's held Everett right out of this game now. And we do see the suicide squad now on for Newcastle. Johnson will do the shooting, and McDaniel will do the shooting. The rest will be applying the defensive pressure all around the floor.
The young, fresh guys out there to try and put the Kings under some kind of pressure.
Oh, that's not much pressure there.
Handoff, that's a little bit better from Hill, but he only got as far as Ridland. To Keogh, just bouncing it across.
They're going to use the clock now.
Oh, and why not? Carfino. Very difficult angle, but Damien Keogh drops it. He also has been in great form today.
21 points.
110-93. A 17-point break. Sean Dennis. Hit nothing but air. But, Johnson trying real hard to get it in. Eventually, McDaniels gets the 2 points.
I think this is an abject lesson, really, in teamwork. The Kings now with 4 players virtually on 20 points or more. And it's been a great team effort. As you look at the score column, you just get 2 guys out there a long way for the Falcons.
An obvious foul from Wayne McDaniels, not called. Davies again unsuccessful, but a great commitment from Ridland to get it back. Davies to Ridland, and Ridland will finish it off. Well, as Bill said, the team has been playing as a team, and that's been the difference. 112-95, 2 minutes remaining now. Hill from outside, he's missed it. Johnson drops the 2 points, but we can start to talk about a Kings victory now. They had a 4-3 record before this game, and it's now 5-3. Remembering that the Kings have already got their doomsday double, the Adelaide-Perth trip, out of the way. So they're sitting pretty on the NBL table now as Ian Davies drops 2 points. It's in fact a 3-pointer. He was outside the 3-point line. They tried the alley-oop play, the Falcons, but it didn't come off. Nothing's coming up for them now. Carfino under some full-court pressure, but gets it away to Ridland. Oh, some beautiful passing. They're doing fancy stuff now, the Kings. Almost globetrotter stuff as Davies drops another 3-pointer.
A last-minute salvage of his scoring average.
Well, that was a fancy play from Wayne McDaniels. The 2 points will count. He was fouled on the way, and he will go to the line.
Well, we look at this scoreline again. We've got Johnson with 39 and McDaniel with 30. And then you go clear back to Jerry Everett with 13. We see this shot. This is a pretty athletic shot. Watch him twist around, flip the ball, use reverse English off the glass. They need more than enough now to get through.
Well, Ridland gets the rebound. And there's no doubt the Kings had the Falcons measured. They beat them by 9 points up there. Oh, Roosevelt Edmonds went for the dunk, but he couldn't quite get high enough. He gave the hoop a good workout. And that's a foul on Mark Ridland. It's really all academic at the moment with 54 seconds remaining. As I was saying, the Kings were able to beat the Falcons up there in Newcastle by 9, and they've done it here again.
This is what you call not subtle. I'm sure the referees wish they were all that easy to call. McDaniel with 31 now. And again, you can't beat a team with 2 players firing.
That'll be
have to
goaltending.
count 1 point only. Ball was on the ring. It's got to make it or miss. I don't understand what happened there.
Well, that's a very strange call. That's the first one I would question from Bill Milton.
I think probably he thought he made a mistake, that he should have allowed that play because it was off the ring, so he's just called a jump ball.
Well, I guess you cut your losses, and that is also the sign of a good referee. Admit your mistakes. Carfino to Ridland, 45 seconds remaining. Davies will take the shot from there. It didn't go down. Neither did Ridland's rebound attempt. And Dennis flew in from nowhere to take that one. He got the pass away to Johnson, who's had an excellent game. And Johnson hits that one. That's 41 points for the game for him tonight. I think 42, in fact. But it hasn't made any difference.
Don't get hurt now. This isn't the time that you want to go jumping out of bounds to save a ball. When the results of the bank, we see Carfino striving to get the ball tripped up, and he's used there as a little pad to shield the fall.
Well, Carfino got a facial from the State Sports Centre floor, but he got up and he's okay, and it's great to see him back in top form. He's been down the last couple of weeks, but out there firing. 118 to 103, the Kings leading by 15. There's 22 seconds remaining in the match. Dennis from the three-point line, he missed it. Gets the shot out to Steele. They've got to hit three-pointers, and they're not going down. McDaniel's got the short one okay with the offensive rebound, but it means little with 9 seconds remaining. Keogh drives to the basket, drops the 2 points.
Jamie Keogh's a left-hander. That shot up went up with his right hand.
Alley-oop play from McDaniels. The points don't count, and it's full time here at the State Sports Centre, and a capacity crowd has witnessed a fantastic win by the Sydney Kings. 15-point break in the end. The Sydney Kings 120, the Newcastle Falcons 105. Now here's results from the rest of the country in round 7 at the Hungry Jacks National Basketball League. Capacity crowd at the State Sports Centre to watch the Sydney Kings defeat the Newcastle Falcons 120 to 105. And our most valuable player is Steve Carfino. And Steve, great to see you back in top form.
Oh, thank you. I was a bit disappointed with my form last week, and you know, like I tell the other players, when you're not playing well, you have to go out and get to the root of the problem, and you have to put some extra work in. And I felt like that's what I did this past week, and it paid off.
Did it surprise you that Ken Cole sat Jerry Everett on the bench for so much of the game?
Well, I was a little bit surprised. He missed a couple of shots, and he pulled them off right away. But that's how they usually play. You know, they shoot until they get hot. That's why they're so dangerous.
I guess now you can look at a place in the top 6, and with that doomsday double out of the way, you're looking pretty good on the table.
Well, I try to take it one game at a time, because when you get in the top 6, you get to be a bit complacent, and you don't play the way it got you to the top 6. And so we're just looking one game at a time, and every team is tough in the NBL, and we're going to have to come out prepared and start the week, beginning of the week, and training, and start getting that mental attitude right back then. And I think we'll do all right.
you've got our Most Valuable Player award today, and I know you take it game by game, but that's a great award to win, and you're right up there in contention now.
Well, not only with the prize that you get, it's a real honor to come out here, and everybody's so good on the court, and to be named the Most Valuable Player on the night is quite an honor.
Well, thank you, Steve, and all the best, mate.
Okay, thank you.
Good on you. Well, next week, we've got a real treat for you. In fact, it's a replay of last year's grand final. The Brisbane Bullets up against the Perth Wildcats should be some game. Coming right up after the break, don't you go away, the first round of the AMSCAR series from Amaroo Park with a very special guest commentator, Doug Mulray. Hang around. We'll see you next week.